What's up, guys? All right, so I have a good video today. Some things I want to share. Really, what I want to share is obviously like my own YouTube journey. I'm going to be talking about that as I kind of continually, make more videos. I'm early on in this stage, but I think a big part of that comes with this judgment, judgment of creativity and judgment in general. But this the polarity between judgment and creativity. And today I'm going to be talking about that and how that's hampered some of my own creative process. And I feel like it's something that I want to share because it's very personal to me and what I've felt through this process. And so I'm going to be sharing stories, kind of silly stories, because some of them sound so ridiculous that, it's crazy how your brain you figure out things about yourself as you're going down a process that's challenging. And a lot of those things are just embarrassing. They're just silly. And I think today with this judgment and this creative process for me, it's just silly. Like the things that you learn about yourself can sometimes be just a funny little realization. So today I'm going to be sharing a story about that. I'm also going to share a little bit about, what I think from my experience the judgment does to the creative process and how I've noticed it be that way in my head. So today, really what I'm just going to kind of get into it. Basically, when I started thinking about doing YouTube, it wasn't even the YouTube itself. It was just thinking about doing YouTube. I really had a weird resistance to it. In my brain and in my body, I really felt like super tense. And it didn't really make sense to me because I really hadn't done any videos yet. There's no real reason why, like, I've had some major failure in the past or whatever of why, like, YouTube should hold some type of trauma within my body or within who I am. And so it was a really weird thing for me to try to understand, where this is actually coming from. And I think where this is coming from, like, whoa, why am I feeling like this? It can be so many different things, right? We're learning in epigenetics that there are traumas and things that are held in the body through previous ancestral passing down of genes and things like that. I'm sure I'll talk about that in other videos, but it could be, your own past traumas, right? In this life or on like a spiritual sense, right? If a lot of times in certain, spiritual texts, they talk about the sanskaras. It's a Sanskrit word for, just like your shadows that you don't necessarily you're not super aware of at the time. And so for me, when I'm trying to like figure out how to get into YouTube or trying to figure out how to get going and kind of get on this train of the creative flow process, it's been a weird journey for me because it's been so difficult, and a lot of the difficultness has come from this judgment. And it's a really silly thing, honestly, because you'll hear how ridiculous some of this sounds. But I'm going to share a story with you about how I first started making videos. Obviously, I'm super new still, but what happened when I started was I just decided I'm going to try to put my camera into a place where I'm not even going to look at myself back. I'm just going to record. And whatever happens, I don't even care. I'm just going to delete it. I'm just going to delete the video because I don't want to see myself back. I don't want to like deal with any of that. I don't want it to be an issue. So I just decided to put up my camera, and I was in my truck. Actually, I think what I was gonna do is first I was sitting on the couch, and then I just decided to flip my camera around, and I was like, no, I don't want to see myself on like a mirror. I don't want to do that. I'm like, that's too much. That's too much vulnerability. Like I'm not dealing with that. So then I decided, okay, I'm gonna turn the camera around, have it face me, so that I can just talk to it free form, right? Then I realized, I don't want anyone to listen to me while I'm doing this either, because I'm going to sound dumb, right? I'm going to sound silly. Like it's going to come out weird. I'm new to this, So I'm just going to get into my truck. So I decided I got into my truck at the time, and I started videoing myself. from like it flipped over. And so it was facing me and I couldn't see, you know, myself on the actual camera, and I don't know what you call that, mirror mode or whatever. And then I was like, and then I had this thought, no, you're actually too close. People can see you from outside. You having your camera flipped over, they can see you, and it's going to be embarrassing for you if they catch you actually making videos. It's going to be embarrassing. You don't want to see that. You're not good enough at YouTube. This is what my thoughts were doing, right? You're not good enough at YouTube for this to actually look normal and natural. Therefore, you should get further away. And so what I did was I got further away. I drove like 3 miles down the road, put my camera down on my steering wheel, and was at a gas station, right? And I, you know, did that, filmed that, was like, nope, you're still not far enough. And I still decided to listen to that negativity, that like, it's not just negativity, it's like just shame. Just absolute shame of starting to do this creative process. But like looking back, I mean, I was brand new, I'm just trying to figure this out. And so I can have love for myself then. But at the moment, I really felt, no, you're not far enough away. So what I did was I stopped the video. I was trembling, right? Decided to get in my car and drive up this mountain in Arizona. Got super far away. I'm probably 25 minutes out. And the whole drive out too, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I really gonna do this? Like, am I really gonna, you know, actually get out there? I got out there and I put the video up, started video recording. I got 15 minutes in. Actually, no, sorry, 15 seconds in. And I could say probably a max of like 10 words. The shame that I had felt leading up to all of this was just overbearing for me. And I decided, okay, I have some like real harbored stuff here. Like in this specific scenario with me, I am holding a lot of this in my body. Obviously, I'm like trembling, right? And like these waves of thoughts just kept coming over. No, you're a baseball player. No, like you're an athlete. Like you're in business. Like stick to what you know, because that's where the safety is. That like you just do your thing, stick in your lane. People know you for this. Don't get off course. Like you're not a creative like that is the thought that comes through, at least for me. And I know that other people are having this thing because I've noticed it since then, right? And so I think the big question is like, why, right? Why does that happen? Why did that happen to me? Like, why do I still sometimes feel like in and out of this flow with my own vanity and things? Like right now, I'm still even wearing a hat just because I just wanted to jump in front of the camera and not have that be an issue. I'd rather create the video than have like too many things be in the works of like me not, you know, me actually having to stop the video. So essentially what I decided to do was self-examine for the next, you know, however long. And this was about 2 years ago. Started to realize really unfortunate things of my own patterns. And this comes in meditation or, you know, contemplation or the pauses during your regular daily life when you start to do like a little bit of a metacognition. And I think that's normal for people to understand where their patterns are and why they're doing them. But for me, it was in meditation where I realized, you know, I was like, why is it difficult for me, someone who's never done creative stuff, why do I feel so bad? It's not just that I feel like unknown, it's like I feel really negative about it. And what I realized was, Jake, dude, you've been horrendous to other people on YouTube and on Instagram. And I'm like, no, I've never made a bad comment. Like, I don't know. And like, I'm just having this conversation with myself, right? No, Jake, dude, like you really, when something comes up on your Instagram feed, there is a snap judgment there. There's a snap judgment on this is cool, this is not. This is cringy, this is not. This is okay, this is not. This is funny, this is not. And that black and white thinking has really put me into a conundrum here with my own creativity, because I now have to, because I've wired my brain that way for so long on being so critical to the people who are just trying to do this creative thing, because I've been so critical to them, I think the karma has really, I'm really feeling that karma, right? I'm really feeling that residual that's come back to me on how much I've been judging other people, because why else would my brain be acting like that? Like, if I am the one putting myself, judging someone else, but then suddenly I decided to go do that thing, like, do I think it's just gonna disappear? Like, do I actually think that, like, this is an example, right? Like, I open up my Instagram and I go, cool, really fun, not cool, not really fun, cringy, not cringy, like, oh, funny, not funny, right? And as I'm going through these, I'm just making these snap judgments. And then when I try to get in the front of the camera, I want to be on that one side that I have created this like really structured form around, where it's like, no, you gotta be funny in this way. You gotta be like, you gotta look like this. You gotta seem like this. Like, nothing can be off kiltered from what you've already judged people for. And so what I've already judged people for was the specific criteria that a video has to do A, B, and C in order for me to have the validity there or the worthiness there. And I think for me, realizing that was so hard. Like, because I realized this silly behavior of me driving way far out was a consequence of my own past judgment on other people. And it's been something that I've been working with, because like, I'll catch myself consistently now. I turn on a show, I am immediately criticizing the actor. I turn on a YouTube video, right? I'm criticizing the person. I'm saying like, oh, well, they could be like this, and it doesn't seem like they're very authentic. Like, I am critical about like so many little things. And I think what happened in the past was like, what I would do is like, oh, if I did this, I could be better. If I were a YouTuber, I would do this. And I'm like, and then I think at one point I also said, all YouTubers are like this, like and they're all cringy, and like YouTube or just Facebook, like every social media thing, when you post, you are like, and I built this huge negative wall up. And it's just brutal to try to take that down, to actually be the one to create. And so it does make sense. Like, it would be weirder for me to think that I could judge people this entire time and then suddenly just flow right into it perfectly, right? Like, it would be weirder for me to think that, oh no, a video needs to sound like this, a video needs to look like this, you need to actually have this in place, and da-da-da-da-da, like, this video would be better if, but it would be weirder for me to do that and then suddenly go, yeah, I'm gonna go to YouTube and then just be like this, what I mean? Like, this really authentic version of myself with no real boundaries, because that's what I was doing. I was like setting up these structures where I couldn't, be free flowing in. And that black and white thinking can really get into the way of the creative process from what I'm experiencing, right? Obviously I'm new, and I think this is like the further question that I want to raise, and that I'm thinking about pretty consistently in my day, is like, how am I showing up for myself by judging other people? Because what kind of boundaries or structures or judgments am I casting on other people that are ultimately going to be cast on myself, right? And so it's something that I don't want to be even critical of the other way of myself. It's like, say, stop judging people. All I want to do is sort of at least recognize that, hey, you're doing it again. Like, let's just ease up. And even if you don't really find it super funny or it's not really your thing, they have their own specific audience, and that's why you're seeing them. You can just choose to be a part of that audience or not. And that's where I think the beauty and the creative mind comes in, is that some people are just going to resonate with it and some aren't. And that's more than okay. I think that's how this whole thing works, is I mean, like it's kind of a cliche now, is finding your audience, but that's really what I wanted to talk about today. I'm gonna try to not make these videos so long, but I mean, again, like I'm new and I'm trying to figure this out. I'm also like, I feel vulnerable making videos. I don't know how these are gonna go. Like I'm so glad that my judgment has gone down to the point where I can at least, make the video and like talk like this, because it's been such a long time coming, and a lot of the progress for me, and I say progress, it's not even necessarily a YouTube progress. It's just the lowering of judgment when I'm making a video has gotten so much better, and I'm really thankful for that, because it's come with a lot of grace for other people. And I think for people who aren't even creating, it's such a valuable tool to just notice, hey, I'm being judgmental of this person on Facebook or Instagram. Let me just let them do their own thing. If you just let people do their own thing, you don't judge it, you just go, oh, wow, okay. And you just say, this is not right or wrong, this is just a color, right? This is not black and white. Like, this is not just, ironically, I'm wearing black and white, but it's not just black and white. Like, you got some colors in here, right? And I think if you can just identify people as being their own color and being their own space and being, red one day even and blue another day, like, oh, I thought this person was red. Oh, nope, they're kind of blue. And that's kind of the thing I've been playing with in my life, is that, some days I'm going to be talking in front of the camera and be super energetic, and some days I'm going to be a little more somber. Am I okay with those days? Like, am I okay coming and being in front of the camera with my presence on whatever that looks like? Like, am I okay being a little bit more energetic and a little bit, slower some days? Like, physically it might be like a lower energy, but it also some days I just might be slower. Like, I'm dealing with the human body as well. And so trying to just identify what's getting in the way. What a lot of times is getting in the way is just my own thoughts of how something should be. And that I'll probably leave it there, but I am honestly so lucky for so many reasons. And I think that's a big reason why I want to start creating more often, is that I'm so lucky to be here. I'm so lucky to be doing what I'm doing. And I just want to be able to share it with people. I get emotional, especially early on, because I remember how hard it was creating. And I remember how much of a barrier I put on myself when I judged other people. And I'm almost mourning those moments for me, because I remembered how much pressure and how much depression and anxiety that gave me. Because I would always also, not just with videos, I would walk around subconsciously judging other people and judging, it's like, okay, if we can just lower that voice, life gets so much more beautiful when you can see the colors around you instead of the black and white. And I'm sure I'll make more videos about that, but that's been my experience, and that's why I feel lucky. And so, yeah, I don't know. I'm grateful for those that are going to be sharing this journey with me. And I'm hoping to be able to, hear from you if you're also experimenting with this creative process as well. And anyway, thanks for watching. See you later.